On this episode of High School Sports Weekly, presented by OS1 Sports Injury Clinic, we'll introduce you to Spain Park football player Rodney Scott, and we'll tell you his inspiring story of overcoming obstacles to be successful on and off the field.
And while at Spain Park, we will also spotlight a dual athlete, Mackenzie Culpepper, who's a standout basketball player and a record-setting track star.
And speaking of dual athletes, how about we introduce you to Dean Null, Jaquarius Davis, and Nick Rigdon, Oak Mountain High School football players who are also turning it up on another stage.
We'll also talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that's the Bryant Jordan Awards. All of this and more when we come back.
When it comes to an injury, you shouldn't have to be a professional athlete to get professional care. In fact, you shouldn't have to be an athlete at all. At OS1, we understand that orthopedic injuries occur to all types of people at all times of the day. Our convenient location allows you to get immediate attention without having to go to an emergency room. We have on-site digital X-ray and MRI, and our sports medicine specialists are fellowship trained and are here to get you back to it, whatever it might be. The best part is that OS1 is generally less expensive than the ER, and our decreased wait times make sure you are able to spend less time waiting and more time getting better. For more information or to book an appointment, please visit our website at bettersooner.com or just come to our Hoover location. OS1 Sports Injury Clinic. Get better sooner.
We've all heard the saying, life is about the journey. Well, for some, that journey is full of obstacles that bring us to where we are today. At Spain Park High School, the journey for one young man can almost bring you to tears. But once you meet him, those tears quickly turn to cheers for success. Donette Logan introduces us to Rodney Scott.
Rodney Scott is a senior at Spain Park High School. He's your typical young man, plays football, loves tennis shoes, and has big dreams for his life. But at just 17 years old, Rodney has already overcome more than most people do in their lifetime.
So when I was 14, I was living in the house with my nana, my older sister, and my two younger cousins. At the time, we were going through a lot, but just the love and everything that we had kept us going. But my sister, she ended up getting pregnant, and it was just hard on everybody. And she would kind of take out her anger on us, especially me. And so it got to a point where she was not only like calling me out my name, but also like hitting me and stuff like that, and just being really toxic. And I wasn't able to be where I needed to be to do school. So my guardians now, Mr. Jacob and Ms. Lindsay, they heard about that through the church, through my nana, and they decided that, well, we should give him a chance, and they saw something in me, so they decided to adopt me.
And give him a chance they did. Just a few years older than Rodney, Jacob and Lindsay Catlett, just in their 20s, opened their home to a 14-year-old young man.
We had gotten to know Rodney and his siblings and cousins and his grandmother through church and just loved their family. And when we became more aware of kind of some of the hard stuff going on and how that was making it hard for Rodney to be the best version of himself and who we knew God was calling him to be and the plan that God had for him, I think that was when Jacob and I really just felt it pressed on our hearts that we had stability at that time that Rodney could benefit from, and he's got an amazing family, and I truly believe that it takes a village to raise a kid, and that God brought us into Rodney's village at a time when he needed maybe a little bit more stability or structure and the opportunities that Spain Park could offer that he wasn't getting in the school where he was.
And in August of 2018, Rodney's school, friends, and home life all changed. And like most people, especially someone 14, it was hard not to wonder why all of this was happening to him.
Sometimes I would sit through church and ponder or think about a lot as far as if God loves me, then why would he put me through some of the stuff I went through in my life? And then someone older than me told me, Rodney, you go through the stuff that you go through because God is using you to tell your story, to let other people know who's going through the same thing, that they're not alone. So I take that personal, and I love any chance I get sharing all the stuff that I went through.
Rodney would tell you his faith has guided him and the Catalyst through the whole process. And like any teenager and their parents, they have all been reminded to love, accept, and grow together.
At first, it was a little shaky, or it was I was scared because I just felt like, man, I need to be this person, this all amazing person for them. But just as our bond grew, I realized that they loved me from the start, so I didn't need to become this person, this special person I thought they would love me as. So
it was really a boost in faith for me and frankly for Rodney. How is somebody who's 11 or 12 years older than me going to be able to help me at all in my life, but especially in such a way that he's a part of our home and a part of our family.
It doesn't take long for someone who meets Rodney to see his potential in life and his passion to inspire others.
Coaches are supposed to inspire, and sometimes you get those kids that inspire you every day. And when he first moved in here, just to see where he's came, what he's been through, his story, it's inspiration to me to see a young man that's had some adversity in his life, which is what we preach all the time as football coaches, to overcome that. And he's just a joy to be around every day as a vibrant personality, and he's an inspiration to me and our football team.
Rodney is fun-loving and so genuine, and just one of the most compassionate kids that I have ever met. I feel like when he first walks into a room, if it's with other students or family, or he teaches a class of fourth graders at church on Sunday mornings, any room he walks into, he immediately just starts looking around to see who in that room needs a smile or maybe having a bad day. And that's just, he's very aware of those around him and how they're feeling and what they need.
The awareness to help others started for Rodney when one teacher saw something in him. And now he wants to make sure he dedicates his life to helping others believe in themselves.
In the 9th grade, I had a teacher named Ms. Miles, and I talked about how teachers would usually give up on me at my old school, but she was the only teacher who I felt even in my family, I felt like she cared about me more than some of my family members did, and she would never let me give up. And she brought that on me by putting my favorite subject on me, which is English, and she would always be the only teacher I felt as who really cared about me. So she had an impact on me that I want to have on other kids. I want to make sure that other kids know that if they don't have anyone else, they can come to me.
Throughout life, we all face challenges, and some may be harder than others. But when that moment comes for me, I think I will take this piece of advice from Rodney to heart, and I hope you do the same.
God has you in that position for a reason. And I would tell them that he's using this to make you the person you're going to be in the future. Because once you hold a testimony or hold something like that, it only gives you determination, and it gives you the hope that you know that your situation can always be worse than that.
Donette Logan, High School Sports Weekly.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm the medical receptionist at OS1 Sports Injury Clinic in Hoover. I'm one of the first people you see when you walk through the door, and I'm also the person you speak to on the phone when you're asking questions and kind of inquiring about whether or not OS1 is where you want to visit. And one of the most common questions I get as a receptionist is, do you only treat sports injuries? It's in our name, and so obviously we do see a lot of sports injuries, but the answer is absolutely not. We see injuries and orthopedic issues of all different kinds and in all different ages. We have seen 18-month-olds all the way up to 89-year-olds. One benefit to being treated at our clinic is that when you walk through the door, it's kind of a one-stop shop. So you're gonna go to x-ray, you're gonna be evaluated by a physician, and if further treatment is needed, we have options for on-site MRIs, DME, bracing, splinting options if you ever were to need something like that, and really just kind of everything you might need for an orthopedic issue. The great thing about OS1 is that when you come and see us, we can treat you in one visit, whether it's a chronic issue, an emergent issue, or any kind of orthopedic issue, not just a sports injury. We'd love to see you get back to it.
Being a dual athlete is not a new concept, but what about those whose seasons overlap? For some, they finish the first season and then start the next, like most football and basketball players. But for one athlete at Spain Park, she's leaving the court and going straight to the track and setting new records along the way. Let's meet Mackenzie Culpepper.
Mackenzie Culpepper on the podium for the 800, on the podium for the 400, on the podium for the 1600, and on the podium for the 4x4 relay. If you attend a track meet in the state of Alabama, you will hear those words being announced. But you won't just hear her name for placing in a meet. She's also making her name known for new school records at Spain Park High School.
I have the 800 and the 400 record, I think.
The 400 and the 800. I anticipate her having another one by the end of the outdoor season, but she's worked hard to get those. She's worked through a lot of difficult seasons. She's a true two-sport athlete.
And a true two-sport athlete she is. Not only is Mackenzie ranked nationally for the 800 meter, she's also a key player on Spain Park's Lady Jags basketball team.
I started basketball in 3rd grade with the Hoover Rec League, and then after that, Coach Chase, I went to his camp one year, and then he put me on his OTM team.
And if you know anything about basketball and track, the two sports can overlap, but that hasn't stopped Mackenzie. In fact, she was on the court for Spain Park's game against Hoover one night, and the next day lacing up her spikes for a meet.
And I think it was cool to still perform well after having the basketball game. So I guess when I had to do that, I was like, if I can do really good in the race after the basketball game, during outdoor track season when I don't have basketball, I'll just be even better. So it was always just trying to prove something to myself.
Something that Mackenzie makes sound like a normal season, but going from the court to the track and giving 1,000% is no simple task.
She's, like I said, she's a phenomenal kid, and she puts in the work, and like I said, she doesn't want to disappoint anybody, whether it be basketball, parents, coaches, team. She's a special athlete. With records in track, being part of a championship-winning basketball team, what are the benefits to being a dual athlete besides the bragging rights?
You get a lot of strength and conditioning and mental toughness from basketball, and I always take that into the outdoor track season. And even from cross country to basketball, I'm always in shape, I guess.
We built up a really, really strong base for her over the summer and into the fall with cross country. So she had that aerobic fitness. She had the ability to go in and go longer distances, which she hates being outdoors as she's gotten older. And then going into basketball, he does a really great job strengthening them and bringing them together and making them, just really committed and dedicated to, becoming stronger athletes. So we have sort of this working relationship that she takes care of the strength stuff and she does the running on her own. And I think the less time Mackenzie has to think, the better off she is. If she sat and didn't have a basketball game to occupy her time, she'd panic about the race the next day. So oftentimes that would work to her benefit, which is really, really bizarre.
Being a junior in high school, Mackenzie is still trying to decide what she wants to do after high school. She knows 2 things already. She wants to run in college and major in something related to the medical field. I can tell you this, if I walk into a doctor's office and see Mackenzie in that white lab coat, I know I'm in good hands. Just ask her coach.
Dedicated, hardworking, and committed. She's a special girl that works hard in everything that she does, and she doesn't want to disappoint anybody.
Donette Logan, High School Sports Weekly.
All right, Susan, I know you love football.
I love football, Chris.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess you like musical theater as
I
well.
love musical theater, too.
Does not shock me in the least. When we return, we're going to put the two together. You don't want to miss it.
When it comes to an injury, you shouldn't have to be a professional athlete to get professional care. In fact, you shouldn't have to be an athlete at all. At OS1, we understand that orthopedic injuries occur to all types of people at all times of the day. Our convenient location allows you to get immediate attention without having to go to an emergency room. We have on-site digital X-ray and MRI, and our sports medicine specialists are fellowship trained and are here to get you back to it, whatever it might be. The best part is that OS1 is generally less expensive than the ER, and our decreased wait times make sure you are able to spend less time waiting and more time getting better. For more information or to book an appointment, please visit our website at bettersooner.com or just come to our Hoover location. OS1 Sports Injury Clinic. Get better sooner.
Hey everyone, my name is Rachel Brown and this is the National Scouting Report Recruiting Roundtable. One thing that I love about my job, besides guiding athletes through the recruiting process, is preparing them for conversations with college coaches. So I want to go over a few questions that you can ask a college coach to help determine if that school is a good fit for you. Question 1. Are you recruiting my position in my graduation class? Now, if you're an NSR athlete, this question does not apply to you because your scout is talking with the coaches and getting coach requests. But if you are not, and this is your initial conversation with a college coach, this will help you weed out the pool of schools that you're looking into. If that coach isn't recruiting your position, then it's time to move on. Question 2. Where do I fit on your list of recruits? This will help you see where you fall in your recruiting class. There is a big difference between being number 1 on the list and number 5 on the list. Again, you want to have options because that list is always changing. Now, those 2 questions were about you. This next one is about the college coach, the person behind the name on the chest. The third question is, why do you coach and what's your coaching philosophy? Again, this helps you get to know the person that's recruiting you and ultimately will help you determine if that coach and that school is a good fit for you. Now, these are just a few of the many questions that you can ask a college coach or a member of the team, but there are just as many, if not more, that you need to be prepared to answer from a college coach. We will talk about those on an upcoming segment. If you have any questions about this topic or the next one, please reach out. I am here to answer any and all of your recruiting questions. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to High School Sports Weekly. You may remember when Pittsburgh Steelers nose tackle Steve McClendon made headlines for his ballet classes. Well, the 6'4", 320-pound athlete started ballet in college and said it helped with his footwork and core. Well, some Oak Mountain High School football players are taking that one step further, and they're adding dance shows and a mic to their football resumes. Donette Logan has more.
We are used to seeing them do this. But would you have ever imagined an outside lineman, a running back, and an O lineman doing this? Meet 3 of Oak Mountain High School football players who aren't just making moves on the field, but also on the stage.
I'm Dean Noel.
I'm Jaquarius Davis.
I'm Nick Rigdon.
3 names that you've heard if you attended an Oak Mountain football game in 2020. But these guys' plays go beyond the field.
The boy threw a party in the county jail. The prison band was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard them knocked out jailbird sing Let's Rock.
That's senior outside linebacker Dean Knoll, and he's not the only one who can belt out the tunes. Meet senior running back JD.
Ain't too proud to beg, sweet darling, please don't leave me, girl. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby, please don't leave me, girl.
And finally, 230-pound O-lineman Nick Rigdon.
On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard. We'll search for tomorrow on every shore, and I'll try, oh Lord, I'll try.
When head coach Chris Bell told us about this singing trio, we were surprised to hear that the same guys that have a tough edge on Friday nights show a softer edge in the show choir. But it's nothing new for Oak Mountain High School.
The funny thing is they're not the first guys we've had do that. That has been, I think every team that I have had, I've had at least one, if not multiple kids that have been show choir.
So is show choir the hidden secret to making big plays on the football field?
It's helped me a lot to be able to stay light on my feet. We run a very fast offense, so it helps me a lot. Helps me to stay in shape year-round.
Definitely helped me leadership-wise on the football field and on the stage. It just has helped me mature and just become more of a people person.
The footwork that, because show choir, it's not just singing. I mean, they're doing their dance lines with that and whatnot. So it's, you've got to be, there's a reason that, they use the phrase 2 left feet with people when they try to dance. So you've got to have some coordination, and it certainly does help them when on the football field and the positions that they all play.
If it is, then that secret keeps these guys pretty busy.
We would come straight from football, rush and go get something to eat, and then go straight to practice till 9. Do homework after practice, stay up late, 12, 1, whatever.
But what is harder, taking the hits on the field or doing this?
Everybody in the wholesale block was dancing to the jailhouse rock.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
I'm sailing away to set an open course for the virgin sea.
In football, you going out there, just muscling people around. Here you got to actually think more, get know your body more. So yeah.
Show choir practices for sure, because our practices are from 6 to 9, and 9 times out of 10 you're beating your body up for 3 hours, and then you wake up the next morning more sore than you've ever been in your life.
This is, I have to say, in very good shape for show choir, a different kind of shape than football.
So what does their football coach think about show choir practices being harder than football drills?
Well, then I need to step it up.
Donette Logan, High School Sports Weekly.
Can we have footage of your show choir experience next week on the program?
No, you may not, but I do want to
Fair
go
enough.
see those guys perform. That was pretty awesome.
Fair enough. They were outstanding indeed. Bryant Jordan Scholar Athlete Program, outstanding as well.
That's right, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it next week, but something that's near and dear to both of our hearts. We've been involved with it for many years. The Bryant Jordan Awards, really, really neat special program that honors student athletes from our area and around the state.
Speaking of our area, around the state, and our hearts, they were all broken with tragedies that took place, the tornadoes that ripped through Shelby County and so many of our communities. Our thoughts and our prayers continue to be with those that were impacted by that, and we, again, really appreciate the efforts of so many to reach out and express their care and concern. A lot of labor put in to help clean up neighborhoods.
That's right, yes. Our thoughts and prayers are still with those families and those communities. We'll see you next week on High School Sports Weekly.